दिवि भूमौ तथाकाशे बहिरन्तश्च मे विभुः यो विभात्यवभासात्मा तस्मै सर्वात्मने नमः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। पंचम सर्ग, फिफ्थ चैप्टर, विशुचि उपाख्यानम अथवा शुचि tapah. That's the story, the austerity of the Shuchi that she has done, and the story given by the Vasishtha to Rama just to drive home the point of what is the importance of austerity. And from that we have picked up the idea for today, that is like a title that we have used, and tapasa kshina kalmasha. Tapas is the one that which takes away the kalmasha, that is the confusions in the mind. And the idea is very beautiful, saying that she actually does the tapas for some different purpose, but then kshina kalmasha that takes place. The idea of driving home the idea of that importance of tapas by itself has this capacity to take away that you are missing. So let's go by the way that what Vasishtha says about that asat abhasamachatma brahmasmi paramam padam brahmanaha spuranam kinchit tam jivam vidhi raghava. There is a supreme state called Brahman, which is of the nature of the pure crystal, having the semblance of the non-existent, that means to say visible universe non-existing. And Raghava, hey Rama, know that to be the jiva or the individual soul which is shining in the manifestation of Brahman a little. So it's a small little glimpse of the Brahman. It manifests through this particular jiva, and this is only abhasam, achat, atma. On top of it, it is abhasam, and but it is supposed to be Brahman, paramam padam. Tadeva ghara samvitya yatya hanto anukramam sankalpon mukatam yatat ahankaro bhavishyasi. It is only this particular jiva which is in due order as reduced to the state of ego by gross perception. Happening to be intent on thought or willing, it indeed becomes the ego. So this is the basic idea that in the Vedanta that we have. The idea is that the Brahman that is there, individualization that takes place in the form of Jivatma. That means at individual level that there is always this separation that comes from the Brahman itself. So this is what is the first step in the Karya Brahma. That means that is the Karana Brahma, there is a Karya Brahma. Individuation takes place. And that individuation takes place is the way that it is in the form of the Asmita, which the Vedanta calls it, or the ego that he calls it as here. And this is what is Jiva. And Jiva now further becomes bifurcated into various performances that are there. And Sankalpa Unmukha, see this Jiva, when it becomes this particular Asmita, Sankalpa Unmukhatam Yat. So that means to say, the Sankalpa is the one that I would like to do it, I would like to become like that. What is the reason for that? The moment that there is a reason comes, that means there is a cause and effect. That is something which is later on our mind, the way that it functions. That's what we are normally. Whenever we are doing anything, that immediate idea that comes up, why am I doing it? or why are you doing it. Therefore, there should be a cause and effect. But it is at this level that where there is no question of cause and effect, it is just becomes, it just wants to do, become like that. So this is what is the way sankalpa and willing, this is what is the will, I will to do it, and becomes the first form of the asmita that is there. And now this divides into various things like chittam, chetaha, manaha, maya, prakrutischeti namabhak, dirgha swapna stitim yataha, samsarakyam manovashat. Last time we have seen that the whole creation is nothing but dirgha swapna vat. See, it's a prolonged kind of a dream that is there, and there's a prolonged dream that's going on, and under this dream that we have wakeful state and dream and all those things, all these things put together is a form of a dream. In fact, there are certain the fireflies, they are there. They are born in the evening, the rainy season, and then they fly around, and by another 2 hours that they're already finished. In 10-15 minutes they lose their wings, and then in another 2 hours or so they will be crawling on the ground, and then they die. See, very funny thing, Zen philosophy says that these particular creatures, they do not even know that there is something like night and day exists. They don't even know that there is something like what they are born is in the evening. Nothing like that. There is no other perception at all. For them, that's all the life that is there. For us, it's not like that. Day is there, night is there, and then again next day comes and all that. Birth and death goes on. That means to say, it is because that our perception, we have raised above that level, therefore that we have a perception where this thing continues. And this continues for, say, day after day after day and year after year, and then this continues. But then we have not identified with that particular consciousness which goes beyond this particular manifestation and far beyond that, so that we can see that this one life is there and then it goes back into that wakeful state. Supposed to be that is the wakeful state, and this is dream state, and again come back to this dream state, and then we expect that there is a continuum on that. No, there is no continuum. You cannot expect the dream to continue next day, same dream, same kind of a thing. You pick up new ideas, new objects and all that, you create a new dream. But then there it is very real in that dream. Everything exists like the way that it works in this particular world. You have fear, you have tremors, and you have difficulty. And it's so funny that many times when you look at your own dream, you laugh at this thing. So why is that such a dream is coming? But some people take it very seriously. So seriously, the dream is something which is so real for them. Well, but then that dream goes away, and again reality comes, looks like to be a reality. But this is also like a dream that goes away. Last time, that's why we have seen in the Lilopakyana that there are different levels of existence, and then after the death, you existed in a particular death from this body, you existed in a particular Akasha. Husband is existing in a particular Akasha. He doesn't look at you, you don't look at him. So all this kind of disconnection that happens in that particular place. So it is essentially, this is the way that the whole thing happens in this way, that sankalponmukata yatat ahankaro bhavishyati, and in this ahankara, then all these things are born out of this ahankara. One is the thought, the objective, that is chittam, and second thing is chetana, and that's what is the consciousness, and third is the manas, and then fourth is the maya, illusion, and then prakriti, nature, and these are various names given to various aspects of the same thing that are existing there, so that the interaction, the play, and their own roles and all those things take place under the influence of this mind. Dirgha swapnavastitah yatah samsarakya manovashat. Now here these are the two different things. One is the we are in one particular phase of this cycle, this world, this is what is mind. But this, like the way that the concept that is there, we borrow the earth from the earth and fire from fire, water from the water, like that. There is one thing called as the mano dharma, and we picked up manas from that particular mano dharma. And then with that we work all those things. So whatever that individual mind is working at us, the same way that there is a cosmic mind, that a universal mind that is working with that. असम्यक दर्शनात् स्थाणो इव प्रस्फुत्यते दृढ़ः चिदात्मजीवयो भेदो नैवैवं जीवचित्तयोः. Just as there is a firm conviction that sthano, that means which is strong, and iva pumsa, that means to say it is the man due to wrong understanding. In other words, that human being, for a wrong understanding, with a wrong understanding, we think that we are the gross physical thing. Annamaya kosha, made out of food. The gross physical thing, that's what I am. It's a mistake. Chidatmanam and evam pumsaha pratyayo drudaha. That means we say, take it so strong. Chidatma jivayor peto nevaivaya jiva chittayoho. There is not at all the difference between the conscious self and the individual soul. See, that also between the individual soul and the mind, and the former is a mistaken for the later. That means to say, just like the way that we think that we are the absolutely gross physical body, and the gross thing that what we do is something that is what is real, and there is nothing else that exists in other. It's only that we read and we hear, and then somehow we convince ourselves that there is something, but then not really experience that. But then when you experience that, it's all the same. Like the way that the Upanishad gives us the beautiful example, saying that the leaves on the tree, they look to be separate. One leaf is there, another leaf is there, third leaf is there, and then one old leaf is there. In front of it, a new leaf comes, and the old leaf says that, look, I'm always there here for the last year. This is my place. I have to take the sunlight. You came in between me and the sun. You have no right to come here. So all that argument takes in, because that they are feeling that they are separate. All that happens because that you are in the leaf consciousness. All that what you need to do is a bit of traveling behind. From the leaf consciousness, you go to the stem consciousness or the branch consciousness. Then these are all the different fingers of the same hand. So from the hand, when you look at the fingers, then you see all these fingers belong to me. So it's all the differences that you need to extend your consciousness to a deeper level. And then from there, if it goes further into the tree level, see that all these different branches are, again, they are not separate. They're all me. And then something is there and something is not there. Today something is gone. Some branch comes up, new branch comes up. A story goes on. This is continuing like that. And when from there, when we go further into the roots, then you see that from the roots, then we see that the same thing, that you get the earth and water, everything from the same earth, everything is the same. So that further extends. So like that, when you look at our own experience, that I breathe, as long as that breath is there within me, it is my breath. But the moment, next second itself, I would have left it, and then it's somebody else, and then something else goes on. So it looks like that we are continuously, like the way that the river flowing, and our whole existence itself is like flowing, that is there. So like that, when we go, ultimately when we go to the level of this, my own consciousness level, when we go, he said that all these things are part of this consciousness, whether it is the mind, intellect, and this and that, my thought, all those things that are there. There's one saint here, he was in Bangalore. He was J. Krishnamurti's student, UG. And his thought was, he was very beautiful. He said that you have an instrument, and some instrument, what you call it, I don't mind it. But then there are so many thoughts that are there in this world, and then you pick up that thought, work with that, and then leave it. There is nothing like your thought. You like you just pick up that and then work and then leave it. That's all. Why are you bothered about it? Wow. See, you see somebody, and then he's like your friend. So there is a thought called as a friend in the sky. Take it and then work with him, and afterwards you throw away that thought that is there. Person is still there, but you don't have to worry about it. So it was so obvious for him. It was like so, and he used to come to our house and have all these discussions and all that. But he never used to handle any classes regularly. But he had a very trusted followers. They were there, very nice. But then I remember this is the kind of discussions he always used to have it. So more and more if you listen to him, you are with him, then you see that how much like you are just only, this is what is basically that you are one consciousness, that one is the center. And that consciousness has various tentacles and that can work with various things, like the way roots are there. And the roots work in various areas in this particular earth and then picks up whatever it is there and then works with that. It's as simple as that, as easy as that. So all these things, then we have given the various names for that. And that is what is, one thing is chitta and the other is chit and manas and all those things. Chittam, Chetana, Manassu, Maya, Prakriti. Different names we are given and different names so that they are doing different functions that are there. All those things put together. What is called as, and all these things are in the Dirgha Swapna. The concept of Swapna, I don't think that anywhere else in the world they have worked out so meticulously, so deeply, so extraordinarily about the way that Indian philosophy worked on that, because the Swapna gives us a very great insight into that. You see, look at the moment that you just went to sleep, and then there is some inspiration, some intuition comes from within, and within that fraction of a second, you create all kinds of objects, all kinds of distances, all kinds of reactions and actions and whatnot. You can create everything in that small little second. And by the time already the dream starts, goes on and on, then makes all kinds of emotions are involved in that. All that to play for one simple thing that is there. That's what Jung says, that you have suppressed something and then that should not be settled inside you. So you just give out all that so that you clean yourself. That you take out all the kachara, all the dirt, and then throw it away. That's why dream is a big scavenger. That's what he says, that it's a scavenger. Indian thought also is the same thing. Dream is a very big scavenger. If we did not have dreams, we would have become mad, because all that thing that is, we have suppressed within ourselves and all. Many times we don't even know that we have suppressed all those things, that they come up. So like the way that whatever that is, in fact, you could see that the same thing in the case of children. They never thought themselves to be the strong physical personality. They feel as if that they are using it. They are purely consciousness using this. They don't have that sthanu, that means the feeling of steadiness, dhridatva. That's not there for them. It's okay. Because that they don't have dhridatva, that's the reason why they heal very fast. And they become normal very. Even the animals also do not have that kind of dhridatva. It's a very surprising thing that it's all in our mind that we are very strong, we are physical. This friend of mine in Colorado, Dr. Vedantan, he has beautiful dogs, and then he's a medical doctor himself, and then he does surgeries and this and that. He has the patients and admits them in the hospital, and then they are in the anesthesia, this, that. So all this kind of things that he knows very well because he's a medical doctor. Then one day he got a phone call while he was busy with his office that his dog strayed out, and then some car went over that, and then I think both the rear legs are damaged. Immediately that person stopped the car and looked at this thing, and SOS, immediately took it to the vet, and then the address and all that, and then they immediately called vet. He said that now he's on the operation theater, and then when the surgery is over, I think very sure that dog will be all right. He said all that, and then you can come after in an hour. So this he was so anxious, this and that. He went to the hospital 1 hour later, and then went there and he asked, "Yes, my name is this, and then this is my dog has surgery." And then he was asking where the intense care unit, where the beds, and where the dog. What are you talking about? No, 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 just both the legs are surgery done and all that. They fixed it. Yeah, they put some plate and something like that. They fixed it. I want to see that dog. I said, yeah, he will come. Listening to you, the dog will come. And in 2 minutes, the dog came with wagging the tail, came to him. With all that fixed already, the dog does not have any feeling of any pain or anything. That identification is not there. And then this doctor was telling me about that. He said that we are suffering from all this 5 days, 10 days, hospitalization, and then physiotherapy, this, that, so many things because you're so attached to the body. If you don't attach ourselves to the body, next moment you'll be all right. You'll be jumping with like anything. It's so difficult for us to detach ourselves from the body. So this is what essentially is the way that dridata is the way that we suffer from this kind of a thing that is there. Where are we? Yeah. So now he comes to the story of Karkati, that is Himadreha Bhavan Parshve Karkati Nama Rakshasi Tasya Vipalakayatvat Durbalatvat Nijandhasaha Na Kadachana Satruptihi Upayata Mahodari. So on the top of the Himalayas, on the tip of the ice tops and all that, there was a demon called as Karkati in the vicinity of the Himalayan mountains, and because a huge body, so huge a body that, and then the scarcity of her food, there was scarcity of food, and then therefore the big, and the Himalaya, therefore the food is not there so much, as it is big body, so there's scarcity, and then big bellied, whenever it is, and added to that Rakshasi, the very idea that Rakshasi means, never satisfied with the food that you get. See, all those negatives are added to that. One is in the Himavat area, and the second thing is such a large body, an amount of eating is not going to satisfy that. And third is that Rakshasi, therefore that means basically there is nothing like satisfaction. That in Ramayana also the description goes like that, saying that Rakshasa, the description of Rakshasa is that one who is never satisfied, one who is never satisfied with anything. So the dissatisfaction of the basic urge that is there within, that is the idea that comes into the Rakshasatva. And Tasya Vipalakayatvat Durlabhatvat Nijandhasaha, that means to say, because of that large body and the scarcity of food, and then also stupidity, never attains satisfaction even once. Jambu Deepagatat Sarvan Nigiramiti Nishchita Vyavastita Tapakartum Tam Pitamaha Ayayoho Rakshasi Vacha Bhagavan Bhutabhavyeshu Syamaham Jiva Suchika. Now, having decided that I shall swallow, I mean, because that there is no satisfaction, that I swallow all the people who are there in this Jambu Dvipa. I want to eat everybody that is there in this world. And then in this continent, Jambu Dvipa, and then she settled. Now, how to do that? Because one thing is that big kaya that she cannot even move. But then everything that she has to eat, and otherwise the hunger will not be satisfied. And then she said that she settled in performance. He says that one way that I can do it by doing tapas. And then I asked the Brahman, do the Brahman tapas, and then I asked Brahman, give me an opportunity to eat everything that is there. That's a very simple idea. Whatever your idea is there, you want to achieve that. So, a Brahman, the creator, and then he appeared. I mean, I don't know, it was basically those days are so easy. You do tapas and then Brahma is there. But then she did the tapas for 1,000 years. Then Brahma appeared in front of her, came to her. Then the demon called that Lord, controller of the existing and those to be. Let me become something which can really enter into everybody and just take them, essence of them, and then digest them, and everything that is what is the living being. So, in what way that you could do it? This is where the Shuchi comes into the picture. Then Shuchi is actually, that means to say, I must be something which is so minute. That's why it is called as needle. Needle head is something which has no dimension at all. I should become something which is of no dimension like that, but having enormous amount of such instruments, and so I become such instruments so that I enter into everybody and then eat to be able to consume that in my own. So, and actually that's what is the Vishuchi, Mashuchi, and you know what we have this, what is that, um, smallpox is called as?
Vaccine.
Amma.
Vaccine.
In Kannada, in Hindi. This is. ತಿರುಪಲ್ಲ ಪಾಕ್ಸ್ಗೇನು ಶೂಚಿ ಅಂತಲ್ವಾ ಅಮ್ಮ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಬಟ್ ದೆನ್ ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ vaccine is different, but even this disease is called as something like that. So Shuchi, he calls it as actually in another place that it is like the smallpox, like the smallpox virus that is there. So I enter into everybody like that virus. So today, exactly what we have is the COVID. Mashuchi or something like they call it. So, Rakshasuvacha Bhagavan Bhuta Bhavyeshu Syamaham Jiva Suchika. Jiva Suchika is that I become a living, minutest kind of a particle that you cannot even decide. But then I'm not, you see, that there is another important aspect is I'm not complete, I'm only one part of it. The other part, for that I go to the world outside. You see, today this COVID virus is supposed to be something which does not have the other part. What is that it called it as? Only one part is there, other part is not there. Something like that.
Only the
DNA, only RNA is there, no? Yeah.
body is
Yes, that's what. Exactly that is it. I have only one part of it. The other part I need to go to the world outside. And then Pitamaha Uvacha, and this man, the grand old man is there, Brahma, is ready. He agrees with that. Evamastu tathahi tvam bhavishyasi visuchika. So, durbhojanaha durarambhaha murkhaha dusthe tamaschadaye Durdesha vasano društva tesham vyadhi bhavishyasi. You become like a vyadhi. Bhavishyasi, that means you become like a vyadhi. So, he says that so be it, let it be there. And then you will likewise become the disease called as Vishuchi. And that's what is the virus. Vishuchi means virus. And Vishuchika, you will become the ailment of those who eat. Now, here's the idea. And then you enter into the people. And how do you enter into the people? It says that the people have to become vulnerable. And what is the way that become vulnerable? It says that by bad eating, food habits, and that's what is durbhojanaha, bad eating. And another thing is engaging in evil deeds, tathahi, durabhyasaha, durarambhaha. Wow, exactly all these things what it says then. And they are murkha. In fact, even if you tell them, they are jamatis, they don't understand that. And dussitasyaha, that means, and then their whole living that does not have any particular standard. Not that it is not because of the money, riches or anything, because of their own way of their organization. And that's what is they dwell in a bad way, and that means to say, there is one thing called as in Ayurveda they call it as that achara vichara prajnaparadha, right? Prajnaparadha. That means to say basically they don't have that awareness. This is what it. Dushtaha tesha vyadhi bhavishyasi. So you become a vyadhi for such people. So become like that. Athaha sukshma shariracha pranipanaika ghatini bahurshani tataha sa chintayat swayam. Then possessed like this subtle bodies, she became a destroyer solely of the vitality of the life principles of the living beings for many years. So for many years went on destroying people, right, left and middle. Then you see, this is the beautiful turn that is there. Then she looked at herself, she reflected on herself, saying that tataha sa chintayat swayam. Started looking at it, what am I doing? What is this happening? Like that she looked at herself, and then he says that Shuchitam raktamamsanam kanamatrena puryate kwame tani vishalani gatanyangani durdama iti sanchitya bhuyopi tapaha tape suduravanam. Mutation. Yeah. The appears then this particular virus of blood and flesh is filled up by mere particles. That's only where have those large limbs of the evil-minded gone for me. That means to say, where all that these particular tentacles are my being has gone into, then having thought, and again she went on doing the severe tapas. See, earlier she has done the tapas, and then now again she entered into tapas, because the idea is that, you see, as a Rakshasi, one of the important qualities of Rakshasi is that you are not satisfied. The dissatisfaction was there earlier, she wanted to eat everything, but now the dissatisfaction continued because that she was only Rakshasi. But then there is one thing that was good point about is that now she has done the austerity. The moment that you have done the austerity basically that means tapas. Tapas means basically that as Shankaracharya gives the idea, looking into yourself and trying to see that, observing yourself, this is what is tapas. That means going inwards is the tapas. So naturally tapas gave her first of all the chance of going inwards. Until now that she was only looking at outside and eat outside and do all these things that are there outside. And that's what Adi Shankaracharya said. What is tapas? And he says that bahya antakarana samadhanam tapaha iti sadhanam anushteyam. What is the anusthana that we need to do is that bahyakarana antakarana, you just calm down and then turn your mind inwards. And that's what he says that avrutta chakshuhu. That's what in the Upanishad also the word that is used. You look into yourself. It gives an opportunity to look into yourself, and then suddenly when you look into yourself, you start looking at, why am I doing all those things? Is it really necessary? That one small little awareness brings about that. Small little awareness brings about that. And not only that, it brings for you and also to the people that they are around you, interacting with you. They also develop this particular attitude of looking at themselves because you say contemplative in nature. That's what was say that. I was doing the teacher training program in Turkey, and all those Muslim ladies, they were attending. And one day that I have to go to the class, and then one of her husbands, he said, I will give you a lift. I'll take you in the vehicle. And then so he came and picked me up and taken me to the yoga center, almost like 1 hour drive. And then he said that thank you so much, very broken English that he could speak. And then said, thank you so much, because you brought in a change in our life. I said, what happened? ever since my wife started going to yoga, I could see that her whole response changed. And not only her response changed, because her response is changed. Now, whenever that I involve in anything, I immediately look into myself before I do something. So she says that I'm going for yoga, but then I see that a lot of change in you. In you that happened, that change. This is tapas gives us this an opportunity window for you to look into yourself. And that's what happened in the case of Vishuti also, that Raktamamsanam Kadamatrena Puryate Kwame Tane Vishalani Gatanyang Gatane Durdiyah Iti Sanchitya Bhuyopi Tapaste Api Sudarunam Babhuva Nirmala Sapi Tapasa Kshena Karmasha Tasyau Sa Akhila Samsare Hetam Kritikurvati. Now, even she became, see, because of tapas, because of separating herself from the world outside, because she has to do tapas on Brahman. So naturally, even she became pure. See, I keep saying that this is such a wonderful opportunity, lockdown opportunity for us. Such a wonderful opportunity that how many things that we could really recognize during this time, that we could be by ourselves. We don't have to unnecessarily eat outside. We don't have to unnecessarily burn the fossil fuel outside. How many ways that this is like a tapas, this has worked on us. And we could do it. One man's inspiration that he has given us, so much it helped us. In fact, there were so many people complaining about that the household violence has increased and all that. Maybe a few incidents here and there is violence, but then that few incidents can become really very big. But more than that, in many houses, that parents and children, they are living together and eating together, and they are eating the home food. They don't go for junk food. So many ways that this has been given so much of insight into that. In fact, I wish that this continues that way. This attitude of the people continues that way. Before they honk on the street, they said, "Where? For I never heard any honk for almost like 2 months that we never heard any horning of any vehicle. And then now we don't. Why don't I have to? Why don't I maintain that kind of a bit? Even 10% of population will have this kind of an insight. What a big change it occurs. So, Babhuva Nirmala Sapi, this is what gives us Nirmalaha. That means to say, the whole mala that is collected on you, and that sa api tapasa kshena kalmashaha. So, kshena kalmasha. Kalmasha is not within you. Kalmasha is not there with you. Kalmasha is something which is the dust which is gathered on the mirror. The dust is not there on your face, it's there on the mirror. And then, but you see that there is something which is there on your face, but then suddenly you see that it's on the mirror, it's not on your face. Mullah Nasruddin drank and came home, and while coming home, that because he was drunk, his steps missed, and then he fell down and had a cut on his forehead. Somehow he gathered himself and got into the house, had the key, and then somehow opened the door, went inside. Went to the bathroom, he saw the big mirror, and there he saw there is dust, there is cut on his forehead. He didn't want to, leave it like that because blood is there. He immediately opened the drawers and then took out the bandage, put it on the cut, and then went into the bed, slept comfortably. After half an hour, he suddenly woke up with a big, by that time his inebriation also came down, and then he woke up with like a thunder, and then the covers were drawn, taken away, and then holding his collar, wife dragged him onto the mirror and then showed him the mirror and said that who dirtied my mirror? Then he realized that the bandage, he put it on the mirror, not on himself. Then he realized what is the dirt that was there on him. So actually what happens is that The kalmasha is this one, that what appears on the image, that we think that what we are. So this is what is, kalmasha is not what we are. Kalmasha is what is there in the mirror, and that we think that we are. We know what we are, but we take the image that is there in the mirror. And today it is not that one mirror that we have. You have so many mirrors in the world outside. Everybody that you come across is a mirror, your teacher is a mirror, your street somebody is walking is a mirror, because you say what he is looking at me, what he thinks of me. Like that, when you look at it, the whole world, you can see so many mirrors, and each mirror is right. And then you know what happens is that whatever that mirror gives you a wrong information, we catch hold of it so easily. Like for example, 100 people might say that your dress is nice, but one person says, what is this kind of dress that you wore? That one person's comment makes your life miserable until you go home and then change your dress and then come back and all those things. You're not satisfied. What a unfortunate thing that is. We go by the mirror image, we don't go by ourselves. And going by the mirror image, like the way that beautiful message of Mullah Nasruddin's story is, that when you are inebriated, that means to say when you think of when you are not conscious of yourself, that's what is the mirror image that gives. The moment that you become conscious of yourself, then you come out of it. It's easy to come out of it. So therefore, all that is that, all right, the world says so many things, world gives so many signals, so many indications and all that. With all those things that are present, can I look into myself? Can I separate all those things and look into myself? And this is what is to be able to live with yourself, is what is called as the Kshina Kalmashaha. And when you take out like that, Tasyo sa akhilas samsara heyataha hridi kurvanti. That means to say, even she became, you see, that is, even a Rakshasi could become so pure, her sins worn out by tapas, austerity. Such an important, that is, the tapas is given such an important position. This, she remained thinking in her heart that the entire worldly existence was fit to be, yes, it has to be in its own place, abandoned, and then I look into myself. Because basically the world not only gives, I mean, one thing is that world gives you information wherever it is necessary, but even if you are not asking also, there is people that who continuously give you information. There are so many advisors for you all the time in the world. So it's so easy. Easiest thing to give in the world is this advice. And they give you because that didn't work for them, that's why they give it. Keep on giving advice. Whether you want it or not, they give it advice. I have that experience every day in morning and evening and all that, because that we have a Vishuchi here going on giving me advice. So, you know who calls it as one of the, I think Alden or somebody calls it as conscious keepers, and they keep your conscious. Tam vidya tadrushi jnatva samupetya vacho bravit. I don't know whether it comes here or not. The other one it comes. There is a very beautiful turn that takes place once you get it. Okay, I will only eat somebody who is stupid, somebody nonsense, who is bad, I will take away that. Good I will spare. Intelligent, good and all that, he will spare. That's what is in the Brihat Yoga Vasishta. And there it is given that way. Yeah, earlier that I said yes, Durachara. He says yes. Oh yeah, here itself he says that. No, that's what his Pitamaha has given. That means Brahma has given is that Durbojanaha, Durabhyasaha, Murkhaha, Dusyatasyata, and Durdesha Vasino Društva. So that's what we have seen earlier. So he said already, and probably that dawns on her now, and then that's what he says, that I would like to do that. And then she comes across a king and a queen, and then, all right, let me test them, what they are. And then she found that They're extraordinary, wonderful people. So that's why I should not eat them. So that's what is the realization that she gets into. And here also that there is a dialogue that is there. The king said like that. It's also there. So anyway, let's go to that aspect of it. Tam vidya tadrushi gnatva samupetya vacho brabit जीवन मुक्ताशी हे वत्से hardate galitam tamaha. So Brahma, now this is what is the dialogue of Brahma. Tam vedyaha tadrushim jnatva. So the creator, having known her to be so, that means she has also gone through that, and going to her spoke these words saying that, my dear child, you are liberated while living. The darknesses in your heart is vanished. So we already, because that she realized that aspect of it, then he says that now you are Jivan Muktosi. That means to say you are already liberated and living in this world in a liberated way. That means to say all the impurity has gone. See, this is what the idea Kshina Kalmashaha. Now, Kalmasha is one more aspect is that your nature is now exposed. The nature is exposed. That means to say your nature itself is bliss, your nature itself is freedom, your nature itself is all that. That you know that are wisdom. All that you know it. Kalmasha is that which is opposite to that. Opposite to that is that I'm not happy, but then I get the happiness from outside. I'm not blissful, that I need to seek something else. I need to beg, borrow, steal something like that. I need to do that. Jnana, I'm not jnani, therefore basically I can take the support of ajnana also, support like that. So these are all the things which will take you away from yourself. That's what is the kalmasha. Kalmasha is that takes you away from your, which hides your nature that is there inside that. It's a very common idea that is there. Even in Buddha's case also, it says that after all that tapas what you have done, what is that you got? Buddha said, I did not get anything, I lost. I said, what did you lose? He said, all that which is supposed to be ajnana, what is supposed to be the bandhana that is there, I lost all that. Once I lost that, then whatever that shines is the natural state that is there. So, Jivan Muktosi, he vatse, hardete galitam tamaha. That means to say, tamaha, that is the darkness is completely vanished from your heart. Puratana vapuhu praptam sukhini bhuvanechara eva muktva chiram tasthau nirvikalpa samadhina. Obtaining this earlier body, go about in this world happily, having been told thus, she remained for a long time in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Went back to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Vikalpa not being there. And so again he connects with that Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the one where that you live as an activity, that's all, not as the knower known knowing aspect of it. That is what always, that right from the beginning, his thrust has been on that. Drishya darshana drashtu. So removing all those things and then you behave, or you are just only in the form of knowing that is there. That's what is the idea of living in this world as in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. What happened? So now these questions, actually that is where it says that he asked the king, Atha kalena mahata chittaspandana metyasa bahir vrittimayi bhutva sasmaracha punaha shudham. Then after a long time, she having gone back to the state of movement of the mind and becoming possessed of outgoing thoughts, remembering her hunger again. She went back to, okay, after all these things, then she went back to her. Then Brahma said that go back to your body and then live. Went back to her body, and then again the chitta spandanam etyasa. That means having the mental thought, mental activity that is made. Bahir vrittimayi bhuktva. See, our vritti is always bahir, in the outward direction. There is no vritti which goes in the inward direction, because vritti is always about the world outside. So Bahirpratyamayi Bhutva Sasmaracha Punah Kshudam. So remembered about her own hunger that is there. Praptum Jatyut Chitaharam Atavya Navasat Tata. She then lived in the forest to obtain the food suitable for her tribe. Now, she limited herself to this idea what is suitable food for her own this thing. That means restricted, controlled kind of a. Now the food that is there. Etasmin antare tatra mantirina saha bhupa. Here it comes. Bhupatim rajanya sampravishtham sa vilokya chintayam brisham. So during this period when she was there, tatra mantrina saha bhupatim. That means a king. The king and the minister that they entered there, Rajanya Sampravishtasa, Vilokya Chintayam Bhrisham. That means to say, during this period, seeing the king with his minister who has entered there during the night, she thought intensely as follows. Now that she has this idea that apinakshami dehena naiva mokshe gunanvitam tasmadimau pariksheyam क्वचित प्रश्नलीलया इति निश्चिन्त्य सा दुघोरम विनद्यो वाच राक्षसी. I shall rather die with this body. You see, look at the api nakshyami dehena. With this body that I will die, but I shall not eat the skin. Naiva bhukshena gunanvitam. See, because he has all that merits that is there. Therefore, I shall examine these two, some semblance of interrogation. That means to say, some way that let me try to interrogate them and find out. Thus, having decided, in fact, there much more elaborately gives that people who are stupid are the people who are actually, that's a very good thought that is there. This says that people who are bad are the people who are actually becoming a tax on this universe, on this world. People who are stupid or bad are the people who are tax on this world. So therefore, that I eat only such people who are the tax on this world. But those people who are intelligent and then who are good, who are honest, sincere, I don't want to eat them, because basically by eating them, I'm not helping the creation. Rather, I can die rather than eating these people. See, look at the approach that she has, Shuchi. It says, api nankshami dehena naiva bhokshe gunanvitam tasmadi mau parikshena kvachit prashnalilaya iti nishchityama ghoram vinidyo vacha rakshasi. Kau bhavanto, ye great people, that she says that you are noble people. Kau bhavanto idanim me yaharartham samagato ekopayena matparshvat balakau uttarishyavaha mat prashna punjaram saram chet vidarayato dhiya katham tamiti rajnyetya sampruchat rakshasi tata. So there are several questions are there in the Brat Yoga Vasishta, but he brings out into small little simple one shloka. He says that, who are you and who are indeed arrived now for the sake of my taking, for the sake of my food, I need to take food, and then you arrived here by a particular stratagem, and you children will pass out of my vicinity. You tear asunder by your intellect. If there is strength, that means I penetrate into you penetrate into your intellect. If there is strength, the cage of my questions, let it be communicated. Thus told by the king. Demon was then asked as follows. Then she asked as follows. Shuchi asked this question. Ekasya aneka sankhasya kasyano ambudheriva antar brahmanda lakshani liyante budbuda yiva. Who is that atomic entity, ekasyeka, ekasyaneka sankhasya. That means to say one, that existing entity, who is one but enumerated variously. Kasyano ambudheriva. That means to say, like one drop that is there has become like an ocean, into whom millions of worlds are dissolved just as bubbles in the ocean. That means to say, antar brahmanda lakshani liyante budbadaiva. Like the way all these bubbles, they enter into the water, like that. Who is that one which entered into it? And then kimakasham manakasham nakinchit kinchideva kim gacchanta gachanna gachanti gachanna gachanti chakaha kotishthanneva tishtati. And what is that sky which is not the sky? That means to say, the sky that you see, it is not that sky I'm talking about, but what is that sky which includes this sky? The sky is there within that. So, Kochin kimakasham anakasham nakinchit kinchideva kim. Thou is not something but is only something. That means to say everything comes out of that, and that is not nothing because that is something. Therefore, from that it comes everything. And who, though going, does not go. And then gachanna gachati. Even though he moves, he goes, but then he doesn't go. He's there everywhere. Kaha kotishthannete tishtati. Then tishtanneva tishtati. That means he says to be at one place, but he is not at one place. He is there everywhere. And this is what is the Upanishad Sutra also, that, what is that? What is that shloka in the Upanishad that comes? Navag gacchati no manaha, navidmo navidanimo, tathaiva anushishyat. Yeah, Kena Upanishad gives us that idea. And who is conscious being but is a stone? Kaschitanne api pashanaha, kaschid vyomani chitrakrut. The pictures in the sky, that's a very beautiful concept. That sky is there, and then there is a beautiful rainbow that you see, but then you go there, then there is no rainbow. You are just passing through that. Kaschin napi pashana, kaschin vyomani chitrakrut. Ano jagante tishtanti kasmin bijaiva dhrumaha. There is a tree, and now he comes to more grosser things. That is, there is a tree inside the seed. And what is the way that the seed is there? Tree is there inside the seed. Tree with all the details are there inside the seed. In what form it is there, in what way it is there. What is that in that form that is there? Kasmagna cha prathak kinchit daitamapya prathak kutaha. What is that form which there is nothing different whatsoever, how it is, that even duality is not different. Appear in that duality, but there is no difference. What is that one which is not duality? It's all in the mind. Once you go out of the mind, that you see that there is no duality. Ramakrishna Paramahansa gives a very beautiful example for that, how that duality is created. That there are a bunch of students who are there, a bunch of youngsters who are there, and then they are in the evening. Said, all right, let's spend that evening time. How? I said, let's play football. And then for football, that these people who are there, bunch of students, and then they became youngsters, divided into two groups, and saying that this is, I'm group A and I'm group B, I'm group this, I'm group that. We also do that in the Nachiketa group 1 and then Dhruva group another. And then now you are identified, you are this group and you are that group, and that's your goal and this is your goal. And then you keep fighting. And then there's only one ball is there, so that everybody kicks. And then you pass on to somebody. You said, no, why did you pass on to that opposite fellow? He's not our fellow. You fight with that. Rules are there, regulations are there, everything is there. Everything becomes so concrete. Everything becomes so consuming. You're so getting involved. In fact, I've seen that when we were kids, when we were playing all those things, after the play is over, in the night, lie down in the bed, go to sleep. No, you should not have passed on that ball to that fellow. You should not have done this thing to this fellow. It's over. Tomorrow again, this similar, another story starts. It's all like the game that is there. That's why it is called the play of the Lord. You just play for the sake of playing, but then it becomes so serious, so serious. So Dvaita is there, but behind that there is no Dvaita at all. Advaita is there. So what is that from which that there is nothing different whatsoever? Absolutely there is no difference at all. What is that? And how is it that even duality is not different? Duality doesn't exist. And Shuchika Samadhanam, the queries of Shuchika, then for that answering this Shuchika, and then Mantri Uvacha, the minister said that Bhavatya Paramatmeti Kathito Bodhariti Taha Anakhyatvat Agamyatvat Akashatapi Sukshmakaha Brahmanda Budbhudaha Tasmin Liyante Shaktiyar Yayat. Only the Supreme Self, that Supreme Being, has been described by you. You described about that Brahman, Supreme Being, by way of instruction because of its indescribability and inaccessible. See, Brahman is indescribable, inaccessible. These are the qualities that is there. Subtler than even the sky. And that is in that Supreme Self. The whole universe merges into like the way that the bubbles merge. The worlds are dissolved by the revolution of this particular energy or by this particular power that is there. And Akasham Bhakvashunyatvat, Anakasham Chachitvanaha. It is this Akasha since it is void outwardly. And you see, outwardly Akasha appears to be void. But it is not void because basically from this whole creation comes. So therefore, it is the void outwardly and it is not the sky since it is the nature of consciousness. From the consciousness everything comes about. So it's of the nature of consciousness, that's what is the deeper Akasha that you are talking about. From that everything comes about. So it is the nature of this consciousness. It is not anything but it is undefinable. It is something because of the reality underlying all objects, whatever the object that you say. Ultimately, what is there underneath, behind that, is just one particular thing, and that's what is the consciousness. You cannot step out of this consciousness at all. Only thing is that, and even if you are absolutely no apparent activity like the way that a stone that is there, but in spite of it, it is behind that there is this consciousness that is there. And if in the stone that there is consciousness, what about you? What about me? That there is only the consciousness that is there. Idam tad bhava matratvat vishwam nasyat. Chetanosau prakashatma vidya bhavan bhave shilaha atmani vyomani swache jagat unmesha chitrikam. This consciousness being of the nature of light may be likened to a stone because of the absence of things to be known. He paints the picture in the form of a manifestation of the worlds and the clear sky of the self. The whole idea is, as I was telling, I was discussing about the Akasha. Akasha, the very aspect of Akasha is that means to say it's not Shunya, it exists, but it does not mean that it exists like the way that you keep an object and then Akasha is replaced by an object, therefore that you have to provide a space for Akasha. Shastriji used to say very beautifully, how the space is created or how the Akasha is created. I don't know where he got that idea, maybe from this thing itself, but he put it in a scientific way. He said that when light travels, the light travels from a sky, from a planet, it continuously going. If there is no obstruction for that, it continues to grow. Is it not? That's what is the law of light itself. it continuously moves, and it is nothing but a particle moving at a light speed. It's a particle which is moving at a light speed tremendously, and then there is no objection to that. It continues to move. Where does it move is the question that I think E.C.G. Sudarshan asked. Shastriji said, as it moves, it creates space. So space is simultaneously created by the movement. And the movement is nothing but time. So therefore, that there is no space without the time, there is no time without the space. Both these things are simultaneously created. And one supports the other. And the moment that the movement is not there, space is also not there. Where the space is not there, movement is not there. So both these things are simultaneously created. I don't know how the science will try to experiment on this particular thing, but logically it is so beautiful. And then what is that? Once again, the star that appears, or a star that is dead, another star appears. How the star appears, how the star dies. He said a very unique way that he gives an idea. He says that like that there are several zillions of light rays are moving in various different directions. Each star is giving the light, and then so many billions or zillions of stars that are they giving light. There is one place where that a collection of some zillion light rays get together once in a while in space somewhere, and a star is created. And then from there all this light again goes, and then it once again dissolves. And that creation of getting all this light together and then dissolution, it takes 1,000,000 years. And in 1,000,000 years, the star is there, and then all the whole system is created. It goes away. It's like a dream. Now imagine the dream happening like that. Is it not the same way that intentions, this and that are gathering together, getting dissolved? That's what Uppalur UG also said, that that you just have an instrument and you then leave it dissolve, and that goes away. What a serious thought he has given. And then Raja Uvacha, Sarvagaha Sarvasampadhau Gatya Bhavat Nagachati Nastyaso Ashrama Bhave Sadrupatvat Atastitraha. All pervading and related to everything in this substratum, he does not move because of the absence of position. He doesn't. There is no motion for one who is not subject to spatial coordination. That means to say space and movement. They are simultaneously created. There is no spatial coordination. He does not exist due to the non-existence of the resting place, thing on which that he depends. Even then he exists since he is in the nature of being. The only way that he exists is in the form of nature of being. That's why we have these two ideas that are there. We have said that Karana Brahma, that Karya Brahma. Karya Brahma is that manifested world that is there, doing. And behind that Karana Brahma is that what is the being aspect of it. When you look into yourself also, there is one aspect which is called as the doing aspect of it, then another called as the being aspect of it. Precisely when you take the doing as an important, then the two ends of that doing doesn't matter. That doing is going on, you are there, you are not there. And then this activity is there, not that activity. Something is doing is going on. When I was an engineer, doing is going on in the form of engineering. Came out of it, doing in the form of something. But then doing is the one that is what manifests in me. That's what is the idea that it is. So this thought, when the minister gives that and the king gives that, she is really satisfied. And because basically whatever that is supposed to be the nirvikalpasthiti, and in which that he exists, that's what reflected in these people also, that is there. So anyway, we'll stop it here. We'll continue the discussion. There's only a few ideas that are there, and we'll go back to that continuous discussion in the next time when we meet. Stop it that way. Thank you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
ಮಿರರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ,
Ah,
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಸ್ಟ್ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಮಿರರ್ಗೆ ಕಲ್ಮಶ ಅಂತ. ಸರ್, ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಾಡಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದ ಮಿರರ್.
right. Yes.
So the dust attaches to these two things.
Yeah.
But when we look, because that is the mirror through which we can conscious see
Right.
through,
Yes.
we mistake that we are
Right.
polluted.
Yeah.
Kalmasha.
Ah, these are the instrument, that's all. And then we work through this instrument, that is correct. But basically working is which is important. We don't have to identify with ourselves with that.
Like ಕಲ್ಮಶ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ಮಶ ಇದೆ.
Yes.
ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ದಿಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮಿರರ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ.
Right.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದು
Yes.
ಶರೀರ ಇವೆರಡಕ್ಕೂ ಕಲ್ಮಶ ಬರುವಂಥದ್ದು. But the consciousness is something different from this.
Right. You see, you are pure consciousness. That means to say, you don't have any kalmasha. That means to say, preformed opinion and all those things. That you leave them aside and then interact with the world. These instruments are the same. The
But
mind.
we don't look at Atma directly as Atma, but rather
we
try
don't.
to look through body and mind.
Actually, yes, that's a very beautiful idea. Saying that. That's why in Sanskrit, Atma is not a substance. Atma is a case. Atmanepadi. That is what is a case. That means that Atma refers to you. Atma refers to me.
That is who actually we are.
Right. That is what we are. There is no substantial Atma. That is. There is nothing like substantially that you have. This is what is the Western concept that is there. That's why they keep asking, when does the Atma enter into the body? No, there is no question of a body entering into. Atma is there always. Atma is the one which created all this body, mind, everything complex for its own use, for its own purpose. And I am that Atma, so therefore that means I created all those things for my own use. I have created all these things for my own use. So I use them as instrument. I don't want to carry unnecessary impression that are there. It is there. Okay. I set it aside and then continue to work what to do. Otherwise, what happens is you carry so much of a burden on you, tension on you. See, all that, whatever that kalmasha is there, becomes like again, they recreate again vasanas. That means every time that you're interacting with the world with that kind of an image, and then that what the world that you're interacting is different from what the world that is there. So what a confusion that you are created into this. That's what it is, kalmasha.
Just as the dusting mirror is so important, after
Yeah.
ಕಲ್ಮಶ
Right.
ಅದನ್ನ ತೆಗಿಬೇಕು.
There is recently some small little this thing that was there. A shop, there is a glass door is there, absolutely glass door. And then there is and of course frame, a glass door, and then there is lock and key and all that. And that fellow was looking at that and then knocking on that door, trying to fill. Meanwhile, another person comes from that side and walks through that particular frame. There is no glass at all. We are under illusion because the frame is there, that is glass is there. Don't even touch it. That's where in the he also shows that. And then Duryodhana is waiting there, and that lady coolly walks out. My God, what a extraordinary, wonderful. I mean, it looks laughing, but it is something which is so confusing, so real. How much we are, and this is a very simple example, and how many we have taken that kind of an examples in our life.
ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಹಾರಾಜನ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗೋ ಟೈಮ್ಗೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಎರಡನೇ ಸಲ ತಪಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಶಿ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನ್ಯೂ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಈಗ ಕಥೆ